actually does a really cool thing. Cortisol is your fight or flight chemical. So when you get in a situation where your life feels threatened or you feel like you're in danger, your safety is in question, cortisol releases into your system. So that's why if you're in traffic, you look down and your phone buzzes or something, and you look up and you see taillights and you slam on the brakes, your hands are like against the wheel, right? Muscles are flexed, you're breathing heavy. That's cortisol because it pumps adrenaline in your system. It gives you energy, it puts glucose into your muscles, right? Increases your heart rate, gets you ready to say like, you gotta get up or get out. When it does this, to get that energy, it has to pull from a couple of different places. A couple of non-essential systems. At that point, you don't need longer toenails, so it just shuts down things like growth, right? It says, we don't need that right now. You don't need to be taller if you're not gonna live through this wreck, okay? If you're out camping and a grizzly bear is attacking, the last thing you wanna worry about is, am I gonna be 3/4 of a millimeter taller after this? No, it doesn't matter. Same thing with your immune system. Shuts that down, because the common cold is not the biggest threat to your system right now. So it shuts it down. And this is fine if we're talking about the examples like I listed. If you're in traffic and you slam on the brakes and you get down the road a half mile and finally your heart stops racing, finally you stop shaking and you go. However, when we work in an environment where we're stressed out, where we feel like someone's out to get us, when that team gets funding and our team didn't get funding, when someone else got a promotion, we didn't get a promotion, how come their head count was more than ours? When we feel like we're in competition with our peers, when we feel like our job security is on the line every day, because if we don't hit our marks, then someone else is going to get our breadcrumbs. Any one of these things can lead to cortisol dripping into your system. And when that happens, at the chronic level, a couple of really bad things happen to your brain. The first is the connections in the fear center of your brain go up. You're more paranoid, you're more worried. You're actually more likely to have cortisol drip into your system at the slightest mishap, right? Then, in addition, the parts of your brain that are responsible for learning, for memory, and for dealing with stress all start to rapidly deteriorate. So now, I have trouble learning new things. I can't remember things, so I have a very valid reason to be worried about my life and my viability in this business. And I can't control that stress, so I get more worried, and especially because now my fear center of my brain is more connected. It's more hyperactive. So anybody see the cycle that it gets us into? And when we're talking about innovation, here's another handy fact. The part of your brain responsible for decision making, concentration, judgment, and social interaction starts to deteriorate. How are you, as a company, as team members, going to innovate if you can't make a decision, if you can't focus on solving a specific problem, if you can't make a judgment call about what's the better of two options, if you can't work with people? Chemically, biologically, we are inhibiting ourselves from being innovative when we put people in an environment where we put self-interest first, where we say, you're not safe enough to take chances and help other people out, you have to watch out for number one. We put bonus up there so that, you gotta aim for that, but if you don't get it, sorry. When we put people in these kinds of scenarios, what we get is exactly what you would expect. Your brain doesn't let you. Your body won't let you innovate. You can't come up with good ideas. At best, you're iterating. And that's very different than innovation. Iteration was what was going to happen anyway. You just get it faster, right? And that's what pay for play does. It gets people to do what they were going to do anyways, maybe a little bit faster. It does not get you to innovate. And this is where we get confused.